The simple fact is that the Biden era of overstretch, strategic overreach, had shown up the clear gulf between the American commitments and capabilities. It was clear to the whole world that the Americans were at the end of their tether and that there is an urgent need to build up ammunition stockpiles, air defense missile stockpiles, to sort of modernize the nuclear arsenal, to improve the redundancy in their communication capabilities. The American spending on defense is now 3% of the GDP. If the United States wants to re-establish its deterrence over the foes, this defense spending will have to go up to 5% of the GDP. And that means you need a phase in which America will have to replenish its ammunition stocks, its defense production capabilities, its fighter production capabilities, its missile production capabilities, especially in terms of it has been firing off surface to air missiles, anti-ballistic missiles like there is no tomorrow. Both in Ukraine, the stock levels being used up are astronomical, as also in the Middle East against the Houthis, against the three H's, against Iran. It's been expending its stocks. So it now needs a period of reconsolidation, and the strategy that Donald Trump is likely to follow is a strategy of overmatch. Create overmatching capabilities to restore American deterrence, cut American commitments. It can't fight wars in Europe, Middle East, Pacific at the same time, not even the United States. And it would be very foolish strategy to try and do so. Henry Kissinger warned the Americans against this kind of an overreach, overstretch, and a gung-ho attitude is fine. But whether it can be sustained, it is clearly showing up the American capability gaps. These have been highlighted to its foes and who are now banding together to create problems for the Americans. So, in my view, Donald Trump would like to go in for a phase of domestic consolidation where it would like to go for recreation of deterrence capabilities, recreation of overmatching capabilities to deal with the external commitments abroad, reduce external commitments, focus on one strategic direction, which Donald Trump is very clear should be the People's Republic of China. That would be a single-minded stretch. Joe Biden had almost gone on a war path with India. We all know the kind of damage he was trying to do to India in his quest to fight the Russians. He had started declarations that you are with us or against us. You will have to take sides in that war. There can be no neutral stances in any war that Biden had started with the Russians. Quite obviously, I mean, they had gone out of the way to do damage to India, to damage the Indo-American relationship, forcing India to respond. So I am very sure that with Donald Trump now in power in Washington, he likes to go in for personalized relationships. He doesn't believe in multilateral alliances, multilateral alliance structures. He believes in personalized diplomacy, bilateral exchanges. Certainly the economy, he will be very protectionist in trying to get back jobs to the United States. He will be raising tariffs, generally 10%, 20%, and he's put in 100% for Chinese electric vehicles, etc. He's been calling India also a tariff, not a country that imposes high tariffs. And to that extent, we can expect the global economy to go in for a period of competitive taxations, like it was at the time of the Great Depression. They had raised tariff wars, they had started tariff wars, and they had brought the global economy to near collapse. So will this competitive tariffs again lead to a cycle, inflationary cycle in the global economy? How will that be managed? How will Joe Biden's very clear predilections for trying to weaponize the dollar, trying to weaponize the SWIFT, trying to weaponize the status of the dollar as a global reserve currency to punish other countries, to wage financial war on other countries, that has destroyed the basal level of trust that a global financial architecture, banking architecture needs. Now, Donald Trump will have to undo some of that damage and see that the dollar is not dethroned from its primary status as the global reserve currency. He is very energetically going to be doing that, but now there are substantial pressures building up, especially with the way that America has weaponized the dollar. 1/3 of the countries of the world have been sanctioned. Iran has been sanctioned, Russia has been sanctioned. The most sanctioned countries in the world are generally third world countries. So there will be a time at which they will be forced to band together and protect their own economic and national interests. Now, critical question. Will the American deep state let Donald Trump do what he wants? Carry on with his agenda? And Donald Trump is a builder, he is a deregulator. He is trying to get Elon Musk to try and downsize the American government. It's overstaffed, it is too costly, etc. And there he is likely to encounter a lot of resistance. But the simple fact is that he also has now a majority in the Senate and in the House. So he has the legislative backing to do what he wants. In his first term, he wasn't very used to the Beltway in Washington, and therefore you found him changing 4 chiefs of staff, sacking defense secretaries and NSA, etc. He was trying to find his way about the place. As he has said, now I know what the score is, now I know who's who in Washington, and now there will be more stability in his staffing administrative policies. We are not likely to see so much of firings that as we had seen earlier, because now he knows his way around Washington. To that extent, his hands will be strengthened in dealing with the deep state. But to say that the deep state will just gracefully bow out of the reckoning, I don't think that is very likely. And Donald Trump will face a strong share of resistance from the deeply entrenched deep state. Just to give you one example, there were media reports that the Pentagon is trying to work out strategies of how to deal, who will resign when, etc., to prevent Donald Trump from having his way. He wants to use the armed forces against the enemies of the state as he feels. He wants to use them to quell the riots. He wants to use them to help with the deportation process. So all this would entail a use of the American armed forces in ways that they have not been used earlier, and they are trying to resist that. They are trying to be, they may not legally be able to countermand his orders, but they will put that kind of pressure. They will put that kind of pressure to ensure that he meets a level of resistance, orchestrated resistance. Thank you.